finally. And I'm expecting a good trademarked Phil Marlin spectacular Sarah Cullen rant in this one. Mother, the new Darren Aronofsky film. Now, let's get some ground rules out. What are your feelings on Darren generally?
Yeah, not overly positive.
Okay.
Yeah,
highs and lows.
I actually haven't seen Black Swan.
Oh,
but
really? Okay.
Yeah, I have seen. Obviously, we saw.
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a
Oh yes,
Dream.
and Leon Conway's lecture.
Yes.
Yeah. That was like my second time seeing it. Yeah.
Okay.
Harrowing.
Yeah. And like as much as I think that is harrowing, I kind of feel like people overblow how harrowing it is.
Really?
It's very bad.
God. Okay. Someone's jaded as fuck.
Maybe it's long. Maybe it's just I haven't seen it so long. I don't remember how terrible it was. Well, no, sorry, not how terrible.
No,
in how yes.
Though I do feel like watching it now would be hard because I'd have less sympathy for Jared Leto generally.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw Noah over Christmas.
It's a weird movie.
And it just sort of struck me how woman-hating that movie was. I mean, I know it's fairly humanity-hating, but it's just, at one point they just have a woman trampled to death and another woman, like, has her children almost murdered in front of her. So I can see where he got the idea of Mother from.
Well, actually, let me just bring that up because I think both Mother and Noah, actually a lot in The Fountain too, like a lot of his films, he's very obsessed with Judeo-Christian myth and how all that stuff relates to modern living and stuff like that. But do you think the misogyny in Noah and obviously Mother, this is why I kind of want to give it a pass. It's not him indulging in misogyny for like its own titillation's sake. I feel like it is him kind of going, look, the Bible is fucked and the Bible has this horrible depiction of women, and because Christian teachings inform so much of modern society, it's just showing like the heart of misogyny at all of civilization's kind of core. And that's why I'm like, I kind of want to give it a pass because I know it's horrible, but I don't think he's trying to say, whoa, it's not like Tarantino is. It isn't like that, whoa, look at this. It is very much, this is bad.
I don't know. I don't know my Bible that well, but I don't know that those particular sort of misogyny moments are in it. And I kind of feel like it's nearly him using Bible stories as justification to wallow in a bit of misogyny.
No, that's fair. All right, yeah.
Because like there's so many ways you can demonstrate how horrible humanity is to humanity without weird woman-hating moments. I think the fact that he like adds these things in is just weird to me.
Yeah, okay.
And he also like leaves out Noah's sons raping him for some reason. Like, why didn't he do that? That happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess that's just a step too far. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't find it believable that anyone could rape Russell Crowe, though. That's a casting problem.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they tried and it just...
He just killed them. Yeah, no, that's fair. I didn't actually like Noah very much. I just thought it like I'm amazed he got it made. I'm glad he did because it's mental and it made money somehow. It's this crazy giant like trip of a Bible epic.
And actually, I mean, the crazy giants in it were
the rock monsters. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm not sure that they really succeeded, but they were still really just very interesting.
Yeah, the idea of like angels being pure light, which would then crash the earth and just like have rock melt around, like that's kind of clever. Yeah, I like that. Hopkins is there as Methuselah. There's a lot to like in that movie. It's probably my least favorite Aronofsky though. Like I like. I wouldn't say I like Requiem for a Dream, but it's effective. The Fountain I quite like, and even Pi is quite good. The Wrestler, whatever, it's fine, it's good, it's well made. Black Swan I think is really good, but it's very... I thought you'd seen that, okay. It's very obvious because it's all about duality, so like every shot has a mirror in it.
I can't even think of the name of the anime it's based on, which I have seen.
Blue...
Yeah, oh yes.
Perfect Blue or something?
Perfect Blue, yes.
Yeah. Actually, and I
did like that. I don't know whether that was why I didn't or there was no reason behind not seeing it, but I just did not see it.
Yeah, fair. But anyway, so Mother. The trailers gave away very little about this, and I like that. Again, I suppose like Kingsman, full spoilers, have to. Yeah. Can't really talk about it otherwise. The basic setup is that Jennifer Lawrence is a young woman living in a big old house with a very old man, played by Javier Bardem, and she's kind of single-handedly trying to fix it up because he has writer's block and he's some like kind of famous old poet. And then Ed Harris shows up, and then Michelle Pfeiffer shows up, and then some Gleasons show up, and it's just more people keep showing up, and no one can understand, or she can't understand why they won't leave, why Javier Bardem's letting them come in, and she's kind of the one sane-ish character as it escalates and escalates. It's all very arch and very clearly symbolic of something. Spoiler, it's just a retelling of the creation myth up as far as Jesus, roughly, but via this single house. And I did like all that stuff because I thought once it clicks, the symbolism's kind of funny. Like the bit when they just keep seeing on the sink the cracks and then floods the house and everyone leaves like, oh, that's the Great Flood. They broke the plumbing. Like, that's kind of funny. But by the end, it's some, again, quite ostentatious, quite ballsy, incredible imagery that, like, when they're passing the child around and you see like the noise of the neck breaking and they're all eating it, and like, again, I get it, it's body Christ, whatever, but like seeing it depicted is quite horrible, and the bit when they're beating her up is just one of the worst things I've ever seen. Yeah, I loved it. Like, I really loved it. I think that's more because I didn't intentionally knew nothing about it going in, bar the basic plot setup, and seeing it with a full packed like cinema audience on Saturday evening of them all just clearly not getting it, not being on board with it, and I just really enjoyed it. Like, visually, it was incredible, and it was so intense. Like, the sense of claustrophobia and just anxiety that was just like kind of creeping up on me just from watching. Because the bit when she's going around the house the second time and it's full of people and she's like pregnant and the baby's coming and she's just screaming, and it's just horrible. Like, it's so awful to sit through, and yet that's very visceral filmmaking. So I kind of loved it, but I'm dying to hear you just shit all over it. So go for it.
God, I feel like all this
pressure's
responsibility
on. Yes.
now. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll say I probably didn't hate it as much as I anticipated hating it. I mean,
it was funny last week you saying to me, actually, like, I haven't seen Mother, I bet I'm going to absolutely hate it.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing is I only saw it 4 hours ago, so
that's true. Jesus,
I have not slept on it, so we'll see. I think, I said to you actually, or I said earlier that it basically, when sort of the house starts going completely insane, it kind of like goes through to like a war zone, I kind of realized like, oh, I've actually kind of seen this already. There's one of my favorite plays actually is it's called Blasted. It's written by Sarah Kane. It's written in 1995, I think, and it's about a woman who, when she's sort of slightly simple, maybe, like, she is raped by someone who's supposedly
journalist,
a friend. Yeah, a journalist who is essentially like grooming her. He brings her to a hotel room and rapes her, and then I think the second scene then is there's been an explosion in the hotel room, and suddenly we're sort of somewhere in Eastern Europe where like there's a civil war going on, and then Ian, who is the journalist, meets this soldier who in turn rapes him, and things keep going more chaotic. And
one of her favourite plays, everybody.
Yes. Makes me smile. And I mean, it goes similarly quite chaotic. I'm fairly sure it ends in a baby dying and being eaten as well. So
yes, I read the synopsis that you said to me earlier on.
Yeah,
it sounds harrowing.
it really is. And I think because, I mean, I feel like that is what Aronofsky was not necessarily, I don't know that he read it or that he was trying to approximate it, but I guess because I can kind of understand what aesthetic he was going for, I can kind of appreciate it a bit. But I also feel like that Sarah Kane's play is so much about the interior world of Kate, I think is the main character, and that's just completely missing in Mother. I mean, I guess the biggest insult of Mother to me would be the fact that Aronofsky seems to think that women literally have nothing to do outside of their husbands. I can understand that from an outsider's point of view, you could go like, oh, well, that woman, she's a martyr to her husband. God love her. But like, the thing is that in her mind, she's thinking of other things. She actually is doing other things that not maybe her husband doesn't see. I think to have a story focused on a woman and acting as though, I mean, because of how the film is supposed to be all about archetypes.
Yeah.
Like implying that that woman does nothing but serve man is pretty insulting in 2017.
Hadn't thought about that. Yeah, no, that's a fair, very fundamental breaking of the movie you've just drawn in. Yes.
So
it's kind of worse than that though, because it's not even that it's just in service of man. It's that she has nothing but a desire to create.
Yeah.
Which I guess in a very broad poetic sense is kind of nice, but in the particular just breeding sense is kind of
ick. I mean, I was glad the way the film went, considering that earlier on, like at the very beginning when she puts her hand on the wall of the house and it's just like beating heart or fetal heartbeat or so, you know, I'm not even sure. It was just supposed to be
I was unclear what that was. I think that, because the thing is, it's clearly symbolic of something, but it feels like it's two or three different things simultaneously, because it's very much the creation myth via the Bible, but also there's kind of like a Gaia theory thing going on. Like the house or her is like Mother Earth Gaia. So I think that's meant to be the Earth. That's like the Gaia spirits kind of. That's what the heartbeat is, because it's the more damage that gets done to the house and the more people come into it, the more it shrivels up. So I guess that's more than just like people environmental damage and stuff.
Okay.
That was my reading of it anyway. But again, it's unclear and it's vague and it's weird.
But I also felt it was way too on the nose as well. Like it was just like, yeah, we get it. The house is alive in some way. So I mean, I kind of was like, oh shite, is this movie just going to like go to the house's heart every 10 minutes or whatever? So I was glad that it at least went beyond that.
Yeah, happens like 3 times tops.
Yeah.
But, what did you think the weird liquid was you're drinking?
I thought it was a painkiller, because Michelle Pfeiffer says to her, "Do you have any painkillers?" And she says no, and then Michelle Pfeiffer says, "You're lying, aren't you?" So
it's a painkiller, but like, what do you think that like symbolized?
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was just painkiller. I didn't think beyond it, to be honest.
But like, it's all like weird and glowy, and like it makes like a bing noise when she puts it in, and like she dumps when she gets pregnant. So I don't.
Yeah.
Fertility liquid.
Yeah, actually,
it stops headaches.
But I mean, the other thing as well, actually, that I wasn't unsure about was, wasn't she pregnant all along, or were we just supposed to think she was? Because she wouldn't drink when Ed Harris offered her his whiskey or whatever he had. And like,
yeah,
you know, when basically Javier Bardem was, we would like children, and she was ambivalent. I thought it was like she knew she was already pregnant, and so that's why she didn't want to say anything.
I didn't think she was pregnant. I think I did when I saw the whiskey thing too, but then I didn't think it once he was like, "We want kids," looks at her, because I thought she just didn't want kids. But then turns out no, she did want kids, and just he wouldn't give them. I don't know what it was, but I thought everyone was very good in it though. Bardem felt like he was playing Silva kind of again. Yeah. Jennifer Lawrence was better than she's been in. Like I like her, but she's better than she's been in most things. Michelle Pfeiffer was wonderful. She was just a nightmare. Like I wanted her character dead so hard. Like, just please get this infuriating woman out of this house. She's awful. That she's very good. She kind of reminded me like of Rick from Rick and Morty for some reason, but it's like in lady form.
It's Kristen Wiig as well. There was a Kristen Wiig, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, she was the publicist. Wasn't she? Yeah.
I didn't know what she was supposed to represent. Judas.
I assume she was more just like the Christian movement, or like the Pope or something.
Okay.
Because she was like the head of his brigade of followers, and then also, did you notice there was no score? Because I didn't until afterwards.
No, I didn't.
Because they actually wrote a score for it. The guy did like Sky score and all that,
sorry.
but they didn't use it in the end because they saw the singing and went, "Oh, we're clear without it."
Although, what annoyed me so much was the scene when Jennifer Lawrence is giving birth, and then they're like arguing like who should own the baby, basically. There was a clock ticking, and then it was a clock tick, and then like a ding, like a bell, just kept going regularly throughout the whole scene, and it was really quiet at first. And I was like, is that in the scene, or is that someone's phone? Because I'm going to hit someone. And then finally at the end of the scene, it sort of becomes louder and swells. So then it's okay. But I don't understand what it was.
I don't know that.
Well, I don't understand. Was it supposed to be something within in the scene? Yeah. Was it a clock in the room, or whether it was just a really weird sound addition?
Well, there was a lot of weird sound stuff because every time she had one of her weird episodes, the sound design got very glassy and kind of pingy and stuff. So maybe it was an extension of that. I don't know. I don't remember noticing that bell though. But
I think it was a bell, or it was definitely like a ding. So just annoyed me. But stopped eventually, and then everyone started killing each other, so that's fine.
I'm still a little, like, I guess it kind of probably came because Noah made quite good money at the box office somehow. Because this cost $30 million to make, and it's not going to make that back because everyone already hates it.
Wow, yeah, not at all.
Like, how did he convince anyone to make this?
I don't know. How did it cost that much? Just the stars and stuff?
I guess there's a lot of CGI in it, isn't there? Like, near the
I
end
guess
and
so.
stuff,
Oh, that's true, actually, yeah.
That set looked very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that bit with the toilet when, like, the weird...
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know, that was it. Like,
it was like a chicken or something. I don't know what it was. I thought I did think it was going to go in the direction of, like, the house being, like, literally a meat house or something, you know, just, like, taking on flesh.
Sure, like, at that point, anything would have made sense.
Although, or maybe it's just there's a passage in Genesis about like, maybe it's like a tiny reference to something that you'd have to read the whole Bible to know about.
But that'd be too specific, though, because like, everything else is so arch.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Well, I suppose
it's an Easter egg. I don't know.
Chicken.
Also Easter, because it's religious.
That's a very true. But yeah, I suppose we should mention that the Gleasons are there. I didn't. I knew Donal was in it. I didn't know Brian was. They're basically Cain and Abel. And yeah, so poor old Brian Gleason, even when he's in a movie, don't know it's him. You think he used his cast because it was Donal's brother?
I would say that was probably part of it.
They don't even look alike.
No.
And neither of them feel like Ed Harris and Michelle Pfeiffer's child.
No.
Yeah, I think that kind of petered out as a discussion. I think I have more to say about it, but I can't think.
We've said all there is to say about this movie.
I think you're entirely right, and I fully, now that you said it out loud, appreciate your point. And again, part of me wants to give it not a pass, but like a sort of something wavering towards a pass because it's not meant to be literal, and she's not really a woman. She's just a sort of cipher for this analogy. But that's not fair, and that's not. No, he doesn't deserve that. So I think you're right. But yeah, like nothing else this year has come out that's anything like this. And
I guess not. Yeah.
As a piece of just balls out weird filmmaking, I'm like, you know what? Do it again. Do it 5 more times. I will watch it every time. But I think you're right that there is this weird undercurrent of not even like active misogyny, like this weird disinterested misogyny.
Yeah. I mean, there is a couple of pretty weird moments, like that non-consensual moment, as in that when he takes her. Yeah. Like, honestly,
I hated that.
Yeah, I mean, that was really bad. Like, to be honest, that was the kind of moment that I went, I don't think I can like this movie anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I remember up to that point, I assumed she just didn't want kids. And she says, "Oh, you won't even fuck me." And then the fact that he does take her by force, and then she sort of relents and goes into it and goes with it. It's like, oh no, don't do that.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing as well is, I mean, if everything is in some way biblically related or has a deeper meaning, it's like, what was the whole thing about him not wanting to have sex with her? Why did that happen? I don't know, but was there a reason, or was...
He didn't... was it until he had enough adoration? Was that kind of the message that, like, he doesn't really care about her unless... Because she's obviously being a big fan of his... the whole way through, but it meant nothing to him because it was just her. And then once it was everybody else, suddenly he was like, "Oh, now I can view you as a human being." Or something. I don't know. It's a bit muddled. All right. I kind of wouldn't mind hearing your thoughts on like The Fountain and stuff now, because I feel like that's probably the same problems. I'm just not realizing it. Because I know The Fountain is again all about him trying to save his wife through time and stuff. And
okay.
I think she kind of has a slightly more internal life, but she's. Maybe not. Well, no, it's also his actual wife at the time, though. It's Rachel's wife. So
that's weird.
Maybe this is all. Maybe Noah and this are both just his bad reaction to the divorce.
Could be, yeah. Isn't he?
Do you think Rachel Weisz is watching this kind of going, Jesus?
Yeah, I'd say she's probably
is this
happy
about
that she
me?
got out. Yeah. Because isn't he dating Jennifer Lawrence now? Or there was like rumors.
No way, really?
Yeah. Well, remember I read an article which was saying, I don't know, was it like rumored or whether it was confirmed or whatever. Javier Bardem is, I don't know, is his character confirmed as being 48?
He's definitely much older than her. They keep mentioning it. Which I kind of appreciate, because everyone before it came out was like, oh, of course, Javier Bardem is a younger woman in a Hollywood movie, but the movie's all about, oh no, she's too old for you. You're very young, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So at least they addressed that kind of.
Yeah. No, because, well, for some reason, I'm not sure if it said that he was 48, or if Javier Bardem is 48, but so is Aronofsky. And this is the thing that the article was like, are you sure you're not Bardem's character here? Because... But
if he is, like, he's very self-aware about it, then, because I don't think Bardem's character is good or likable or...
Well, he's not, but I mean, the film also 100% straight plays Lawrence as the muse that drives the story.
Yeah. I mean, and that she's not even a person, she's an archetype that gets replaced every cycle.
Yeah, so I mean, even if he's, this is very meta, it's still playing it straight.
Yeah.
And he's not subverting any expectations or any conceptions of what men or women do or should do.
And so posing that, like, him as a man and a creator is literally God, can't be killed, goes through no real hardship, and even when his entire life is destroyed, can rebuild again very easily with the same lifestyle as a different face woman.
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz. That's what it was all, just a massive fuck you to Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
And she goes off living with Daniel Craig.
Aww.
Okay, well, you've certainly had your rant, and I appreciate that.
I'm glad,
and you've definitely somewhat taken the film down a few pegs or two in my mind, so that's what I come here for.
Excellent.
To be showing that my opinions are wrong, because I know they are. I still think, of all things out at the moment, everyone should go see it, because I just think there's nothing else like it in cinemas at the moment, certainly, but like this year, and especially like not made... I don't think it was made in the system, but like with big actors. Yeah, it's a weird one.